Episode 1 of Young Sherlock thrusts us straight into the tumultuous, unpredictable life of a very young Sherlock Holmes, not yet the polished genius we know from the classic stories, but a brilliant, rebellious 19-year-old with a knack for chaos, curiosity, and trouble. We open in a gritty prison cell in 1871 London. Sherlock Holmes, young but already infamous for ignoring rules, is spending time behind bars, not for some high-minded crime, but for pickpocketing and contempt of court after arguing with a judge. His behavior, impulsive and reckless, has finally landed him in serious trouble. Into this mess strides Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock's older brother. Mycroft, calm, polished, and far more established in society, has pulled every string he can to secure Sherlock's release. His plan isn't to coddle his younger brother, but to steer him toward structure and opportunity, even if Sherlock absolutely hates the idea. Mycroft tells Sherlock that he's gotten him a position at Oxford University's Magdalen College, not as a student but as a scout, essentially a junior servant role. It's a humiliating appointment by aristocratic standards, and Sherlock is furious. Yet Mycroft believes this will ground him and keep him out of trouble. The contrast between the brothers is immediate. Mycroft, serious and calculating early on. These artifacts are not merely historical curiosities, but MacGuffins that will drive the mystery forward. Sherlock, of course, immediately gets mixed up in everything. He has an eye for detail and obsesses over small inconsistencies, a trait that will become his signature as a detective. The calm of college life is shattered when the scrolls are reported stolen from the library. Sir Bucephalus Hodge, a wealthy benefactor hosting a gala that very evening, is furious. The university's reputation is at stake, and because Sherlock had been seen near the scene and had openly criticized the college's security, he becomes the prime suspect. But Sherlock immediately senses something off about the supposed break-in. Looking at the position of a broken window and the tracks around the scene, he deduces the theft was staged, deliberately made to look like an external robbery. This is his first major deduction in the story, and it shows his mind working in real time, unorthodox, intuitive, and dangerously clever. He argues that the scrolls were never actually moved out of the building. Instead, the real goal was something else entirely, and there's a reason the thief left the window smashed, the room sealed, and the guests distracted. Digging deeper, Sherlock and Moriarty discover a hidden medieval passageway leading out of the library and realize that the scrolls were moved inside a statue, right back into the building itself. Worse, they find that a bomb has been hidden in the cabinet placed right next to the room where Sir Hodge's gala guests are gathering for the evening's festivities. This turns the mystery from a simple theft into a race against time. Sherlock doesn't hesitate. He bursts onto the scene, reasoning, shouting, calculating, and manages to alert the guests and evacuate the gala just moments before the explosion detonates. The blast wrecks the estate, but everyone survives thanks to Sherlock's quick thinking. This dramatic turn in the episode shows Sherlock's courage under pressure and his emerging ability to read situations that others simply cannot. He isn't perfect, he's flawed, impulsive, and a little reckless, but when it matters most, he thinks faster than everyone around him. With the immediate danger over, some believe Sherlock to be a hero. The scrolls are recovered, and Princess Shuan thanks him for his help. But the celebration is brief. In the library, after the explosion, Professor Thompson is found murdered, stabbed and left in a way that frames Sherlock's presence. Despite his life-saving actions, the evidence now looks damning. In the final moments of the episode, as the dust is still settling, Sherlock is arrested for Thompson's murder. The episode ends on this cliffhanger, throwing his future into jeopardy and setting up the big arc for the rest of the season. Can Sherlock prove his innocence, unravel the conspiracy, and establish himself as a detective instead of a criminal? Episode 1 doesn't just introduce the characters, it redefines Sherlock Holmes for a new generation. We see his brilliance, his flaws, and his potential in an adventure that blends mystery, danger, and personality. He's not yet the seasoned genius of legend. He's a young man with raw talent, a thirst for discovery, and a story just beginning to unfold. Episode 2 picks up immediately after the chaos of Episode 1. Sherlock Holmes, barely out of his teenage misadventures, now faces a murder charge for Professor Thompson's death. While the first episode introduced him as brilliant but impulsive, Episode 2 pushes him into real danger, showing how quickly a young detective can become entangled in deadly conspiracies. The episode opens with Sherlock in police custody, confined to a dark cell. He is under constant questioning and the interrogators press him hard. He was at the scene of the professor's murder. The scrolls were involved and the evidence seems to point directly at him. Sherlock is frustrated and anxious, yet his mind is already at work, analyzing inconsistencies in witness statements, considering motives, and observing the tiniest details in his surroundings. TechRadar.com. At first no one seems willing to help him. His brother Mycroft tries to negotiate with the authorities, but the influence of Sir Bucephalus Hodge and other university officials is limited. Even Princess Shao-an, whose scrolls were the focus of the first episode, remains enigmatic, offering little insight. Sherlock's isolation underscores the stakes. He must solve the mystery to save himself, without trusting anyone fully. While locked up, Sherlock encounters James Moriarty again. Although they were initially friendly rivals, Moriarty now sees an opportunity. Using a clever distraction and timing, Moriarty engineers a daring escape, sneaking Sherlock out inside a laundry cart. This escape sequence is tense, cinematic, and showcases the resourcefulness of both young men. In.wikipedia.org The episode ends with a tense confrontation. The remaining professors are in immediate danger and the conspirators are closing in. Sherlock realizes that he must act decisively, balancing intellect with action. The episode closes on a suspenseful cliffhanger, leaving viewers eager to see how the young detective will navigate the dangers, solve the case, and avoid wrongful conviction. Episode 2 deepens the mystery introduced in the first episode while expanding the scope of danger. The tension rises sharply. Sherlock is no longer merely clever. He's tested in life-threatening situations, forced to think ahead, act fast, and navigate complex social dynamics. The growing bond with Moriarty adds intrigue and complexity, setting the stage for future twists. The show balances suspense, action, and character development seamlessly, cementing Sherlock as a raw, compelling young detective while keeping the audience fully engaged. After discovering that the library break-in was staged, Sherlock doesn't stop at just saving the guests. He meticulously examines every piece of evidence, something the college staff completely overlook. He notes tiny details, the position of a broken window latch, the footprints leading nowhere, and the oddly placed chair. Each observation triggers his deductive process. He's learning to connect seemingly unrelated events. Moriarty, observing Sherlock, is impressed by his raw intellect and begins forming theories alongside him, though silently. Their first real collaboration is subtle. Moriarty quietly points out details Sherlock might have missed, like the unusual timing of the gala and why certain doors were left unlocked. This is the beginning of a dynamic where Moriarty complements Sherlock's impulsiveness with cunning calculation. The tension rises when Sherlock realizes that the robbery was a distraction. His attention turns to a small locked cabinet near the center of the library. He notices a faint smell of gunpowder and scorch marks that suggest a timed explosive device. The suspense builds as he calculates the timing. He has only minutes to evacuate everyone safely. Sherlock acts decisively, guiding guests, including Professor Thompson and Princess Shawan, out of danger. The blast damages the library, but no one is hurt. The visuals here, flames, collapsing shelves, and shocked faces, highlight the stakes and showcase Sherlock's instinctive courage and problem solving. Yet, even with his heroic actions, the real crime has just begun. After the explosion, Sherlock investigates the aftermath and finds Professor Thompson's lifeless body hidden behind a shelf. The scene is gruesome. The murder was calculated to implicate Sherlock. Evidence like his fingerprints on the nearby lock and his known presence make him the prime suspect. This sets the stage for Episode 2. Episode 2 begins with Sherlock in custody. Here, the show delves deeper into his psychology under stress. He's clever, but the threat of wrongful conviction forces him to rely entirely on his own reasoning skills. The interrogation scene is intense. Detectives ask rapid-fire questions while Sherlock observes their body language, tone, and inconsistencies. Moriarty's role now expands. He secretly orchestrates a clever jailbreak. The escape is suspenseful. A laundry cart serves as a hidden transport. Guards are distracted by a false commotion, and Sherlock's wit is tested at every step. The tension of almost getting caught keeps viewers on edge and shows the early genius of both Sherlock and Moriarty. Once free, Sherlock immediately begins piecing together the clues. The burnt photograph becomes central. Though partially destroyed, it hints at a network of conspirators targeting multiple academics. Sherlock and Moriarty visit the photography studio, retracing the image's history. This scene highlights Sherlock's attention to detail, examining burn patterns, chemical residues, and the angle of the photo tear, all clues that lead to a bigger conspiracy. As they dig deeper, the series' layered mystery emerges. The murder of Professor Roberts confirms that these are not random acts of violence. Someone is deliberately eliminating academics connected to the scrolls. Sherlock realizes he's chasing a coordinated, dangerous plot, a significant leap from Episode 1's theft and accidental heroism. Sherlock, we see his transition from impulsive rebel to a methodical, analytical thinker. Even in extreme danger he observes, deduces, and plans. His moral compass is tested. He wants justice, but he must navigate a system that suspects him. Moriarty, still mysterious but clearly intelligent and opportunistic. This episode shows the start of a complex partnership. He admires Sherlock's mind and wants to collaborate, foreshadowing their later rivalry. Princess Juan. Her role is more nuanced. While appearing innocent, her behavior suggests hidden agendas and she becomes a pivotal point in the conspiracy. Mycroft and college authorities represent societal and familial pressure. Mycroft tries to guide Sherlock, but the bureaucracy of Oxford and suspicion of outsiders complicate matters.